All right, guys, welcome back to the Present Father Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and tonight's a special night for me. Not only is it my fourth episode, this is also an episode that's close to my heart. My older brother, he is a father, the backbone of his family, someone, even in my sense, I could call if I ever needed anything, just someone to talk to. He's been a big brother all my life, and someone I can always lean on if I ever needed someone to talk to. So, um, Paul, thank you for joining the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Today,
I appreciate it.
yeah, brother. Today, we're going to talk a lot about your journey, what you went through, what you're going through, your ups, your downs, your victories, your losses, and please tell everybody who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Paul Garcia. Currently, I'm a contractor, married. I got one daughter, 15 years old, and three stepkids, ages 24, 11, and 10. One boy and three girls.
All right. So how is that? We're gonna kind of be jumping around a little bit, but how
Yeah, that's
how
fine.
how is that family dynamics?
Well, it's one is different,
Yeah.
right? One of the key things that my current wife and I discussed, which we had a 6 hour open discussion about where we are at in our lives, right? Because we're
Yeah.
older. We understand that people move on, people live their lives, and um, we had expectations, right? And again, uh, you have to have expectation management,
Right.
because if you don't have that, then what I've learned is that expectations breed resentment. All right, and that's what we didn't want. So we had a very long discussion, and she lives in Maryland. I live here. She lives with her two girls, and their father is in their lives, right? And I met the father, and the different dynamic, at least in our culture, right, is that
Yeah.
if you have a father and you have the stepfather, they're kind of at odds with one
Yes.
another
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for whatever reason it is. And the thing that makes this different is that um, we truly understand that the focus isn't us, right? It's the
Yeah.
kids. It's to be able to teach, mold, and mentor them what right looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, and their father, I get along with him great. You know what I mean? We talk. He comes to me, asks me for advices. With what's going on with especially in their age group, right? 11
Yeah.
and 10. So starting middle school and things like that. So it's great, man, and the family dynamic is great. I don't interrupt when the father and the mother have to do the discipline type things with the girls or any kind of special events, right? Because sometimes that can get weird, and I just don't. At this point in my life, at this point in our lives, right? It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Because we just don't want to feed into that ego, and once you feed into your own ego, then that's when issues just start arising,
Pressure.
and
Yeah.
it's not to the benefit of what the initial goal was, and that's to the raising of these young human beings that will emulate what you do. They may not say it, but in their actions and further along in their lives they will emulate it. So
Yeah.
um, bottom line, it's going great.
Well, that's good. That's good. So let's get back to your first. As I was reading your bio or your questionnaire,
Yeah, yeah.
what came to me was you and your past wife. 7 years before your firstborn was born. How was those emotions going through those 7 years?
Oh man, listen, it was rough, right? Just initially just being a man, right? It's like what's going on, right? How come I can't have a child? Going through the emotional roller coaster, And what we do as human beings, we always find an excuse, right? There has to
Right.
be some excuse. I'm too stressed. I'm doing this. I'm not doing this. Is it my diet? Like everything becomes questionable when you're trying to have a child and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was rough, man. It was just rough where there was a couple of years where we just didn't even discuss it. And then we discussed it for a meantime, for a little bit, and then we just went off and just didn't discuss it until the moment when, like, we found out, she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man, like from that, like when she said that, it was a profound internal seismic shift, right? I can't explain it other than just say that, right? And from then on, it's what you do is you build up significant ego defenses, just to survive the pain of disappointment.
Yeah.
And through my life's work and my life's history and career and things like that, we just have to endure, right? There's no giving up. You just have to endure, and you just have to understand that. And Jung wrote, Carl Jung, there is no coming to consciousness without pain.
Yeah, you reference him a lot, so I
Yeah,
kind of had to look him up, and
yeah.
as going back to what you were saying, the is it you, is it me, is it stress? I've met a lot of men or
Hmm.
couples who go through that same, who've been through that same situation, and man, to have a kid is a blessing, but just to realize you're not the only one who went through it. So
All right.
that shows that you're not the only, or men or couples are not the only ones in that boat. It happens to a lot more people than most that people do
Absolutely.
know
Yeah.
about, just don't talk about it.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah. So
but
it's likewise, even with our family and her family, right? So we come from a very islander centric background. So the family is definitely involved. Not in the sense of being nosy, right? Because we all know those family types, right? But
yeah,
the sense of actually compassion and helping out wherever they could. And so
yeah.
so that again was a beautiful dynamic.
Yeah. So when you said when your firstborn was the birth was an
Yeah.
internal systemic shift, can you take us back to the hospital and how that all just changed your life in one at that moment?
Yeah. So um, it was surreal, man. It really was because again for 7 years, right? You're hoping, you're trying to understand the reasons, the whys, the hows, the like what's going on with her, what's going on with me. Why are we not having a child? We're perfectly healthy human beings,
Right.
and I was numb. To be completely honest, I was numb. I didn't know what I was feeling. Right? I don't know. Um, but I can tell you that in the microsecond, my old self and that individual who I was, once I saw my daughter, it died.
Correct.
Right? And so, like, my center of gravity shifted completely out of my own ego and into this tiny, perfect soul. All right. And I just realized from there, my psyche just got reconstructed. I just wasn't the main character anymore. Right. This
Yeah.
is not, it's not about you. And it was emotional, man. And yeah, it was just, I just don't have the words, man.
Yeah, no. So why do you think fatherhood actually required yours to die? You say your identity died, the inside, or your identity died when she was born. Obviously, a whole shift changed from
Sure. Yeah.
um you being who you were before she was born,
Right.
and then the moment she came into your life, the new Paul came
Yeah.
into play, and obviously that's dad. How did can you explain a little bit of that?
Sure. So I was a Marine, retired Marine. So during that time, I was already, let's see, 2011. I was already 11 years in the Marine Corps, right? I started off as an infantry guy, logistics guy, and then went into the intelligence field. So crossed over a number of MOSs. And up to that point, I was deployed. Let's see, up to that point, probably 4 times already, right? So that part of my life was rolling. Okay. If people can look back, older individuals, right, can look back to those years, it was pretty dynamic, right? And having to, in the beginning, again, it's that warrior archetype that was running the show. Okay. My focus was completely on protection, safety, and structure, right? Being in that life, you have to have a structured format in all things that you do. I was hyper vigilant, always assessing for threats, just ensuring everything was secure. Now, while it came from um, a deep place of love, it was also very rigid, right? It's like on
Yeah,
a timeline. Okay, we got to do this and this and this. Um, I was physically present, but my mind was often going into mission mode, planning, preparing, protecting, and just trying to figure out how to transform that that warrior type of spirit into a nurturing presence that my daughter truly needed. Right.
yeah,
So that happened very fast. And so you're dealing with a transformation, so to speak, into uh, okay, how do I balance these two things?
yeah,
And that right there, that completely caught me off guard, right? And so, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? I had to sit back and look at the mirror and say, hey, she's here. Now what are you going to do?
yeah.
Right.
So
So,
yeah, yeah. So when you said earlier mission mode.
yeah.
For anyone who isn't in the military, can you explain what mission mode is?
Yeah. So again, it's going back to very structured, right? Being deployed, and what a lot of times what individuals that are not in the military is, yeah, they understand they deploy, but prior
Okay,
to that, we have to do pre-deployment, right? So, and it's consistent training.
got it.
It's
So
consistent training into the basics.
okay, so when do so. How about this? Do you think the military made you a better father? And is there any habits you think you had to unlearn to be that man?
Yes, the military in certain aspects, as far as the train, mold, and mentor, right? That kind of aspect assisted in, okay, right? So I can't train her like she's not a Marine, right? You know what I mean? Like say
Obviously, yeah,
she's a baby. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And so as she's growing up, I have to understand that she's a baby, she's a child. So I had to read a lot of books
yeah,
on. I had to do a lot of research. We didn't have Chat GPT back then.
yeah. You're
To
right.
just go ahead and spit out the answer. We had to actually, go find books, go talk to parents, discuss different ways of, hey, if she, just different things as far as if she's crying, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like, and the majority of that was handled by, of course, the grandmother. Hey, do this and do that, right? So there was a lot of support there, for that. Um,
Yeah, having a tribe, I will say, having a tribe to raise a kid
mhm.
is it's a lot, and it helps a lot because it just makes it easier. And like you said, there was no Chat GPT to answer your questions. So you did have mom, dad, your elders to ask those questions.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
yeah, or like this podcast is just you conversate, you talk to each other, you know, things that I've haven't went through. If I and you have an older daughter that, you know, is older than mine, that I like, yo man, like some of these questions I can ask now.
Yeah.
These days we have that. You said, going into it, you said your daughter was a mirror. Your daughter became a mirror.
Yeah.
Describe that.
Yeah. So, children have this incredible ability to reflect your shadow back to you, right? So, as a military guy, Marine, intel guy, I was heavily trained to control the environment. Okay. Analyze threats and anticipate different variables.
Yeah,
But the things is kids are pure, man. They're pure, beautiful chaos, right? Um, they don't operate on standard operating procedures. The struggle for me was recognizing that when I got frustrated, it really wasn't about her toddler behavior. It was my own unhealed need for control. And at that point, that was the hardest part of fatherhood, is realizing that the battlefield is entirely internal. Okay.
yeah,
It's entirely internal. You have to conquer yourself before you can guide them. And looking back, you have to definitely um, be willing to do that work. And 99% of that work is going to be yourself. And
yeah,
it's a very difficult thing to do, and to come to that understanding and that realization that, wow, like I have to do this on my own.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. That's that right there is hard for men to admit. Even
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
even myself. Like I never heard of Jung until, like, obviously I started reading your questionnaire, and going into that, and looking at my situation. It is a lot of fighting your inner self and trying to figure out, because you are right. Kids are kids. They're precious. Um, they don't mean no harm, no wrong. They're just who they are, and they're brand new to the world, just like we are brand new to parenting.
Right.
So why do you think fathers struggle with that, dealing with that inward and always blaming that outward, like always blaming everybody else or blaming the child to the wife, when internally we got to look back at ourselves and
Hmm.
say, step back, like you said, reassess the situation and
Right.
become better.
Now there's a massive academia uh, and philosophical and psychological debate as far as nature and nurture. Okay. And it's really gonna depend on the house. And we've discussed this before, right? It
Yes,
starts at the house.
correct.
Okay. And the individuals around that child, going back to the tribe, is going to train, mold, and mentor their behaviors.
Yeah,
Okay. And the thing is, kids learn very fast. They learn, they pick up. And now, right, what we're having to deal with now is that their processing speed with, you know, uh, computers and social media and different apps, they have to process very fast. It's very
yes,
difficult, to keep up. And again, it's difficult, man. It just has to. You have to look within yourself, and a lot of times the reason why people don't do that is because and is they most likely have never been in a place of accountability,
mm,
right? Because nobody's accountable for Nothing. At least that's what's being perpetrated on social media and things like that, right? But when I was growing up, there was always somebody accountable, right? And
Yeah.
we see that decline wherever it is. There's pockets of spaces where it's declining here and here, whatever it is. But I think in totality, I believe it goes back to accountability, is because that's what the military taught me, is accountability, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're responsible for this. Nobody else is responsible for these Marines except for you, right? So that's where that assisted me in looking in the mirror and saying, no, 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 the problem isn't everyone else. The problem is you, right?
Yeah.
And you need to fix you. Because if you're expecting someone else to fix you, it's not going to happen. Okay. That's just the reality. They can help you, but it's a band-aid, man. They can make you feel good and, oh man, you're the best, you're doing this, you're doing this. But at the end of the day, when you're going to sleep and when you're by yourself, like, you know, right?
Yeah.
You know you're not doing what you need to do. And that's what assisted me in killing that part of me, right?
Yeah.
Um, that old self, and turning off that part of my ego. It was very difficult, man. Like, it,
I
it
I
was
don't
it
think.
was not easy.
Yeah.
And for the gentleman out there, it's not easy, man. It is a path um, that men walk, and if you stick to it, man, listen, it's a beautiful feeling. It just comes with a lot of a lot of heartache, and
Yeah.
you have to be willing. You have to be willing to go through that crucible.
Yeah. You.
Yeah,
Yeah. You see myself again, and just listening to you. There have been many of nights where you go to bed and you realize that you yourself need to become better, because you being better in turn makes the home better, makes the kids better, makes a lot of things just move a whole lot more smoothly. And
right.
and I, to this day, still learning that. And up to this point, it did take a lot, because you're just so stuck in you, and you're trying to be that present father, and you're trying to do all the things. But then you go to bed and you realize, like, hey, I got a lot of changing to do to make sure this house runs the way it's supposed to. Because, like, again, it starts at home, and
Yeah,
you want to make
you're
sure
the
when,
leader.
yes, when your kids walk out that front door, they represent, so with with that, you also said, like, you were physically there, but emotionally somewhere else.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because again,
Yeah.
it's that transition. It didn't happen overnight. Uh, over time, I started realizing that although I was present, is that I was still operating in mission mode, man. Because again, being in the military and dealing with the different things that we have to deal with. Not saying that we're special, because we're definitely not special, right? We're just in a different mode, and that realization pushed me to move from a protecting and providing to actually being emotionally present and connected with her, because I can see in her eyes. You know what I'm saying? Is that this is God's child. He has blessed you with a being, and she's you. She's a part of you, right? And anything right, wrong that happens from this day forth is your responsibility, right? And I'm saying that as a father,
Yeah.
understanding that of course she has a mother, but I need to stay in my swim lane. I need to be accountable for my swim lane, and
Correct.
she's going to be accountable for her swim lane, and collectively we're going to raise this beautiful child. So um, that other people like to get in other people's swim lanes. Like, hey, Stay in your swim lane. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your swim lane because
Yeah,
you got a couple of things you need to do over there, right?
exactly.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's just
100%.
understanding that, and it was a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was truly a paradigm shift.
Your emotional growth, you said that changed everything instantly. When did you feel that change happen?
The initial change, obviously, was with my daughter. Right when I saw her, right when she was born, it's like, um, a piece of me, a part of me died, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just what I felt. And I just had to unlearn a lot of different things because fatherhood exposed my a lot of my flaws.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
Same.
it exposed a lot of my flaws, and what I needed to come to an understanding is that my daughter doesn't need a field commander. She doesn't need a Marine, right? She needs an attuned father. I had to unlearn the reflex to manage every variable and replace it with presence, play, and trust, right? And I think that was the biggest thing for me on the emotional side is because it's we're always like hyper vigilant, right?
Yeah.
And kids want to play, man. You
All
know,
day.
they want to play, they want to smile, they want to venture out and do different things, and you have to be present with them in that sphere of playfulness, right? Because they don't need a hyper vigilant individual, there in their presence. Because kids can feel things too,
Yeah.
right? They can feel that stress, they can feel that. So I tried to internally block that off. That did have some cause and effect later, which um, I had to deal with. But at least I made a concerted effort to focus presently on her.
Yeah. So when you mistook control for love, can you unpack that whole situation? Because it sounds like a lot. Again, your military life is obviously structured around that,
Yeah,
and reading through everything, the highlight of it was you mistook control for love.
right. Yeah. So again, I'm gonna go back to Carl Jung just because I read him and I've done my studies in psychology, right? But he would call it the shadow strategy, and it's it's protective on the surface, but fear driven underneath. One of his quotes is, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious."
That's powerful.
Yeah, and that it's just bringing that pattern into the light. Let me choose connection over control. And I unlearned that strength means control. Okay, so real strength is regulated presence, being the calm center, so she can be herself, man. You know what I mean? And again, going back to kids feel things like they know something's wrong. If you're coming home, in a high stressful environment, having to deal with traffic, somebody cuts you off, you know, throwing cigarette butts out the window, it hits your car. There's a whole
Everything.
everything. But once I break that hatch, man, it's like you have to leave it. Okay, like
I think
you have to leave that if you want her to grow in a healthy environment.
yeah, that I feel too like I mean I work overnights and obviously but I think that hour and a half drive just simmers me down before I get to that door, because as parents, obviously we do have to go to work. Always have to provide,
Sure.
but the stress level at work, we tend to naturally bring it home and
Right.
take it out on the people who don't deserve it. So yes, you that whole relaxing and calming down and just giving your kids your 100% when you get home is what they deserve. Is what they deserve. And
Right.
going back to, as well as the, why do you think us as men
Mm.
confuse control over good parenting? Meaning our control is good parenting. Because even myself, I see it even today. Is I feel my control sometimes is good parenting, and sometimes it's obviously not, and the rebelliousness comes with that. But um,
Right.
why do you think dads go through that, as are controlling and keeping the way we want it, when in naturality we just sometimes just need to let them sprout?
Again, I go back to the fear driven underneath,
Yeah.
right? And for fathers who grew up without fathers, um, without a male figure in their life, they're finally, again, this is just my experience. They're finally at a place where now I'm in control, right? And so what I've learned throughout my life is that it's not about controlling, because you can't control everything.
100%.
Like, it's impossible. Okay. And sometimes you can't even control the thoughts that enter your mind. So if you think you're going to control the whole environment and for it to be attuned to however you want it, that's pretty selfish, right? And the thing that helped me grow out of that, and the reason why I say that is because I went through it, right? I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't go through it, and some of the shadow part that I saw in myself was releasing some of that unselfishness, because this is new to you too,
Yes.
right? You don't know what she brings to the table. And what she brings to the table is profound happiness. It's happiness you've never felt, right? It's the realization that, but this is, I have a baby. I
Yeah.
have a child. Like, I'm getting goosebumps, bro. Like, that's crazy to me,
Yeah.
right?
No, it is.
Right? And so that once you get over yourself, I think it's just getting over yourself.
Getting over yourself.
Just get over yourself, bro. You're not that special, okay? Yes, I understand we're special in our home, right? We're dads, we're fathers, yeah, da 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 da, right? There are cheerleaders and everything else. But at the end of the day, they're growing too, man. And they
Yes.
have to see that openness about you. They have to experience the fun dad. They have to experience, hey, when dad has a certain tone, hey, I need to pipe down a little bit, right? So again, it's boundaries and shifts, and you have to. It's very delicate. But what comes with that is just communicate, right?
Yeah.
Communicate to them in a healthy manner, and just having empathy,
Yeah.
right?
So I see, man, I see you've done so much growing, from way back then to even now. I know you're busy
Yeah,
in life. I'm busy in life. We barely get to get a conversation together, but
yeah,
you've grown a lot, and I'm super proud of you. And
yeah. Likewise,
um,
bro.
I will have to say too, the learning aspect of my growth was, I do get the love from mom. You get the hugs, you get the kisses,
Right.
but you don't get that love from dad. And I don't know why that is, but myself, I had to learn that part because I got it from, obviously I got that love from mom, and you get those hugs, you get those kisses, and you mom tells you she loves you, and you tell her I love you back.
Yeah,
But my daughters, I, I had to learn that, and that's, I will say, one of the hardest parts was learning how to show love back to my kids. Like, and I'm not saying when I was little I didn't get any love. I
sure,
didn't. But the way love was shown from a father's point of view
right.
was like, hey, yeah, you're doing a good job. Like, good job. Like, yeah, you too. It was never like, there's only been so many times dad has told me he's loved me, and it's super rare.
Yeah,
So my kids, they feed that, they love that, and sometimes even with the hugs, it feels so good, but at the same time it's weird because,
it feels foreign.
yeah, because you didn't get it as much unless you got it from mom, you know, never from dad. Dad was always like a hug and it was done. And even
Yeah,
even the kids, they make fun of me. It's like they call it a 3 second hug and dad's done. So
yeah.
yeah, so the growth is huge, and seeing you and seeing how much you have grown into the man that you are is amazing.
Thanks, man.
You were also talking about, you went from being a protector to a guide. What's the
Hmm.
difference?
So I, so from the for me when I looked at a protector is just he just protects you physically, right, from external harm,
Yeah,
right. So to me, again, this is my perspective. The protector and how I play that out is I am protecting. I'm looking out and just being a protector. There's no conversation. There's no uh, emotional anything. There's nothing emotional. There's nothing. It's just protecting.
yeah,
I'm there physically. I'm protecting, and if I need to speak, I'll speak. Right. Being the guide again, it goes back to train, mold, and mentor. Is now I am not only physically present, but we're looking at each other eye to eye,
yeah,
kneecap to kneecap, so to speak, right? And it's an exchange of ideas. It's a dialogue between her and I, even with the girls, right?
yeah,
It's a dialogue. I'm here speaking to them and communicating with them. And it's not an overbearing thing where I'm controlling the the conversation. Okay. Again, the key thing is openness, and that's what for me that's the difference. Is the guide is more attuned to actually integrate the daughter, stepfather to stepdaughter, father to daughter dynamic, right? It's them asking questions. I'm answering it, getting their feedback on what their thoughts are, right? Because kids will surprise you on what they know,
yeah, yeah,
right? And
yeah,
and you're looking at them like, I can't believe I'm having this conversation with you. That's because you give them the room and the openness to have their say. And I
yeah.
think that's the biggest thing is just allowing them to speak, man, and just and listen. And again, this brings up the other thing that I wanted to impart is a lot of individuals listen to respond.
Mm. Okay, yeah, I
They
get it.
don't listen to understand. Okay, and I think I figured that out a long time ago. I was like, wow, this dynamic is I listen to respond because if even if we're having conversations with even me and you, right? I'm listening to respond. I'm ready to
Yeah,
respond to whatever you're saying instead of understanding what you're trying to impart on me,
Yeah.
right? And so once I flip that mode, like just the communication and the dialogue after that, it completely changed. And it
Yeah.
changed the dynamic. It changed moments that would be tense into just being calm. And it's a very interesting dynamic once you understand that you listen with intent to understand,
I understand.
not to just respond. And that I know has facilitated a lot of great conversations. Not only in my professional life, but where it matters,
Yeah.
and that's at home.
And you're right. Communication is huge, and calmness is big. So, question.
Yeah,
Obviously, we've had many. If you were to sit down with your younger, let's say, 33-year-old self,
yeah.
what would you tell him?
Oh man, uh, I don't think we have enough time for that. But
Let's 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 shorten it down
yeah,
in
yeah.
yeah, where to prepare that 33-year-old Paul in the journey that he's about to endure. What how would you prepare him, and so he can listen to understand.
Um, Trust God, know God, do your inner work early, be present, and read. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
pick up a book and read. Um, Eat and sleep well, because you're gonna need to sleep, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's little that you get. So now that you have moved on with life,
Yeah,
and now you're married again, you said that you and your wife made the psychological safety your north star.
yeah.
What does that psychological safety actually look like inside your home?
Um, it's for them to know and understand that they have people that love and care about them. They have their best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Okay, it's I slow down my mission speed, right? Because at work, you're in the business of, hey, I need to do this, this, this. We're all in a timeline. We have to meet a timeline, right? And so at home, I get into attune with the child's frequency, right?
Yeah.
An 11-year-old's autonomy, right? Because they're growing.
Exactly.
Hey, I want my friends,
Hmm.
I like you, but I don't, you cool, but I'm talking to my friends,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's their emerging autonomy and having fun with that. And then the 10-year-old's need for co-regulation. Now that the 11-year-old has other friends, now she's trying to regulate her emotions, be like, hey, you're my sister. Like
Yeah.
we do
What about me?
everything together.
Yeah. What about
Your
me?
Yeah, your friends are my friends. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's knowing and understanding that, and then obviously with my 15-year-old daughter, it's navigating her identity, who her peers are, and again her independence. And I think that's what we as fathers struggle with.
Yeah. Hard.
A
Yes.
a 15-year old daughter ain't gonna have no independence,
No.
right?
100%. Yeah. Yep.
Right. So again, but again, you have to let them speak,
Yeah.
because our version, our perspective of independence, I guarantee that it is not the same as what they're thinking their independence is, right? Their independence is for us not to go in their room, You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I want some privacy. That's independence for them. For us, we go overboard, right? Who you talking to? Who's your boyfriend? What? How? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's it's understanding what independence means to them. And for her, I offer more voice and choice, longer listening windows, right, and understanding, and collaborative boundaries that respect her growing agency. Now, all three of them need me to be regulated because each of them goes off a different cadence, and from there they all differ from the my 24-year-old stepson stepping into adulthood, right? So it's managing and balancing those very different dynamics, I should say.
Yeah.
It's very different, but for me, it's I enjoy it, man. And that's the thing is I enjoy it more often than not because I'm in a state of understanding, right? I'm not responding to each of their complaints or anything like that. Like I'm understanding. I'm listening to
Yeah.
understand, and the response is it's very different than how I used to be,
Yeah.
right? So it's that growth. Yeah.
Yeah. Being um a stepfather,
Yeah.
how has that shaped you differently? Because even our own family dynamics when you were growing up, um, you
Hmm.
know, dad was your stepdad, and how has that those lessons taught you to be the stepdad you are today?
See the key thing to, like you talked about, right? Pops wasn't he didn't tell
Yeah.
us he loved us. How he showed his love was putting a roof over our head. How he
Yeah.
showed his love was ensuring the lights were on.
Yeah. I think
How
that's
he
how most
showed,
of them do it.
right? That's
Yeah.
how he showed his love was through providing and protecting.
Yeah.
Okay? We didn't understand that. We understand we it was that kind of dynamic, but even then you know my story, right? We did not get along,
Yeah.
right? Um and that had a lot to do with me, right? And I even talked to Pops, uh and I told him, regardless of what we went through, Pops, regardless of how I felt and the different things we went through, I said, at least you were there, man.
Mm.
Because my, you know, father, right, wasn't, didn't care, did not care. And here's the trippy thing about it, man, is that once you go into this self-reflecting, right, and you
Mhm.
drop the ego, once you go into the self-reflecting, you realize and you understand, for me, that Pops tried to teach me a lot. And I still reflect on those memories because it uncovers a lot of things that you just didn't want to pay attention to because of your ignorance, because of your arrogance, um, because of the internal battles that you had to go through as a young man coming up and just being a rebel. You just didn't want to listen to nobody. Nobody loves you. This, that, and the other, and a lot of that stemmed from my father leaving because I just didn't understand how a man can leave their child. I still don't understand that because once I saw my daughter, brother, I was like, there's no way I can leave this this gift.
Yeah.
And it fascinates me how men can just leave their kids. It's I don't understand that. right? And so going back to the stepfather aspect was that he taught me a lot about being there and about being accountable. I didn't want to listen back then, but now I understand. I understood a few years ago, right, as I was going through this transition, but I finally got a chance to speak to him and tell him.
Yeah.
And that transition of his leadership as a stepfather taught me how to, again, he was in that mode and mentor, right? And I'm trying to mirror that and adding the emotional side of it that we didn't get,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a building block, right? It's getting better. And we have this saying in the military is bloom where you're planted and leave it better than when you got it,
Got it.
right? Because now we're building the future generation.
Yeah. With that, man, that's some emotional stuff. That's you don't realize that how life plays out and how you go through so much stuff to only realize at the end you may be put into that same situation as
Right.
obviously what you went through, and
Yeah.
obviously what you went through built who you are today and the
Yeah.
stepdad you are today. With that, what's one thing you would tell those a stepdad who is about to become a stepdad, who is going into the family, to a new family with step kids, and obviously there's a lot to learn because it sounds like you had to learn a lot and you had to change, you had to unchange, you had to unlearn,
I had to
you had to
accept,
learn.
right?
Yes, yeah, you had to accept the way things were. You know that you
Right.
couldn't go in there and control the situation, and you couldn't go in there and do things the way you wanted to do things. It was already set in stone.
Right.
How can you, or what advice would you give that new stepdad or that becoming of a stepdad
Hmm.
a pathway of light at the end of the tunnel? Because obviously it's going to be hard, and there's not going to be situations where obviously you and your kids is biological father are
Yeah. Yeah.
chill. The majority of the time, it's it's
It's not.
dads fighting at each other because they don't want it. They don't want no other man raising their kid. They don't, you know.
Right.
But I think too at that age, sometimes at some age you just gotta fucking give up. You just like, look, guys, we're too old for this shit. You are the father. I'm not trying to be their dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be here in support. They already have a father, and you
I'm
know,
not trying to replace it.
you're not trying to replace it. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
What's one advice you would give to that stepdad? Because I feel every stepdad is gonna go through your similar situation, just not as super smooth as
As
it
permissive,
as
as
yours.
permissive as it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, man, because there's a lot of variables, right? There's a
yeah,
lot of variables that can happen. And again, I go back to the swim lane, right? Everybody stays in their swim lane. Um, and it's very difficult to generalize it because through my experience, right, through my 48 years, I have not come across a father and a stepfather conversing. I mean, the guy gave me a key to his place. He was like, "Hey, if she makes you mad, hey, just come on over."
yeah.
Right?
That's not normal.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Right? It's because it's the conversation. And
yeah,
again, and again, and the variables depend on one, you coming in as a stepfather. What's your mindset?
Yeah.
What's your background?
What's your goals?
What's your goals? The mom coming in, what's her, what's the goal? Like, and then the kids' father coming in and understanding each other's position.
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing is just drop the ego, my friend.
Hey, yeah. So I was about to say, just so your ego,
Just
drop the
drop the
ego.
ego. You're not the main character. Keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is providing an environment for the kids,
For the safety of the kids.
for the safety of the kids. Because if the center point is the safety of the kids, I don't need to worry about what you're doing. I don't need to worry about what you're doing. I don't need to worry about what you're thinking, because at the end of the day, it's for the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they're in that environment, you have to give them the playbook, so to
Mhm.
speak. You have to teach them, hey, this is what right looks like. And also talk to them, right? Because my wife now talked to the kids, talked to the girls. Um, her ex-husband talked to them, and they came to an agreement. They're like, hey, Paul's here. He loves you. Listen to him. Things like that. That's their father, right? And they had that conversation.
So do you see?
And
Do you? Sorry,
yeah, yeah,
but
go ahead.
do you see the resistance? Or is there any resistance? As
I
in,
I would tell you in the beginning,
yeah,
I was like, whoa, like what is going on here?
yeah,
Why? Because it's not normal.
mm-hmm,
I'm supposed to compete against this guy,
yeah,
right? And um, you start getting into this immature kind of pissing contest that's just unwarranted. Because who are you impressing?
yeah,
You're not impressing anything. It was tough for me, bro. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It was tough for me because I've never seen it.
yeah,
All I've seen was fights between them, the mother talking bad about the guy, and then when I meet the guy's kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get that negative energy off of what she was saying. And
yeah,
so it was like, hold up. Like something doesn't feel right,
yeah,
right? And that even as a kid, I didn't know how to vocalize that, but I understood even as a kid, something's not right. I can't say what it is, but something's not right here. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But internally, it was very difficult for me to come to terms and be in that dynamic,
yeah,
right? And that's the reason for that. Again, bro, we had like a 6 to 7 hour conversation about expectations, what's important, to be able to, and even her likewise for my daughter to be able to co-parent. Hey, here's her boundaries. Here's my boundaries.
yeah,
With her kids, so on and so forth. So just as long as those boundaries are established, uh, then you can grow from there.
yeah,
Okay. But I'm telling you, it has to be a conversation.
yeah.
You
Conversation
multiple
taken. Yeah,
conversations,
yeah,
right? Multiple conversations. And again, listening to understand, not to respond. It's just listening to understand, and just understand that it's going to take a bit of vulnerability for you too,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So again, it's about balancing that. But that's definitely, uh, I simplified a very it can be a very complex situation. But again, if you keep the main thing, which is the kids, then from there you can grow.
yeah. So as we come to a close with our conversation and what listening to your journey, um, one word for fatherhood is becoming that you said. What are fathers becoming?
Well, it's one word to
Yeah, one
describe
word for
fatherhood:
father. Yeah, one word for fatherhood is becoming. What are fathers
becoming.
becoming? Yes.
Yeah. So the becoming, and I say that in a action that is continuous. right? It's becoming the individual that you're supposed to be,
Yeah.
right? And that comes with growth. That comes with shedding the skin of your old self, shedding the ego, shedding your own hardline perspectives in life,
Yeah.
right? Because it's and that's why I say you have to read, man. You have to get out. You have to travel the world because the world is massive. There's a ton of different perspectives out there that you can benefit from, and so that's what it's just becoming. It's that's the one word that I would say to describe fatherhood is becoming, because it's an action of you moving forward,
Hmm.
vice staying in whatever place that you that's just not um it's not functional for you to become a sound a soundboard for your kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your biggest fear is missing the moments that matter.
yeah.
Which moments matter the most?
So many, bro, but it's the like today, right? Like I'm in the basement because it's summertime for them,
Yeah.
right? And Jay's here too, and it's just watching them interacting. They're playing Monopoly, and it's just watching them and them um, learning,
Yeah.
and just seeing them grow and building new relationships. Of I don't know this person, but just watching their dynamic and how they integrate, into the household. It's really, man, it's just there's so much, man. And
Blessed.
yeah, yeah,
So you hope your kids someday say he's my safe place. What does
yeah.
being someone's safe place mean to you?
Home base, man. It's home base because I tell you what, man, this and many people other than me, right, can attest to the world is a nasty place, man. The
Yeah.
world, it can be a nasty place, but it also can be a great place. But I want them to feel like when I go here, this is my home base that I can go to, that if anything is going wrong with me in the world, if I'm at college and things are just not going right for me, and whatever life throws at you, I want them to be able to come back here and have a home base, to be able to talk to me and say, this this is my one, right? This is the individual that understands me and understands and can assist me in answering the questions of life. I'm not saying I'm the all-seeing eye. What I'm saying is that it's a safe place for them to just be who they are, to rest and regroup so they can go back and fight the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine your kids are listening to this episode 20 years from now. What's
Yeah.
the one thing you'd want them to hear directly from you?
Trust God first, know God second, and I hope what I taught you you'll be able to use to navigate your own journey.
All right. Last question, man, and this is a big question too. What
Yeah.
does it mean to be a present father?
To me, it means opening up the aperture, opening up the peripherals to take in the totality of what present is, right? Is actually talking to them. It's It's being there for them. It's understanding their emotional needs, their and even sometimes their spiritual needs. Right? It's being there, looking them face to face, eye to eye, taking your phone, because we all know that phone beeps and goes off and everything else, and it distracts, right? So it's about taking all the distractions away and just being in front of each other and going through the experience of actual dialogue, and sometimes silence, and just being there and just holding them means a lot to them, man. It doesn't necessarily have to be talking. It's just being there for them when you need them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, Paul, brother, thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you, man.
hey, this was an awesome episode, and sharing your journey from fatherhood to being a stepdad. Hopefully, a lot of men listen to this and they realize there is hope if they're losing hope, and also learn that the battle you had to fight yourself is a lot of battles that we as fathers have to fight too, and
Yeah.
it's dealing with our inside, dealing with our inner self,
Yeah, our
and
internal. Yeah, absolutely.
uh, and hopefully they'll realize that being present doesn't require perfection.
Oh, absolutely not. Listen, if you're looking for perfection, you're in the wrong business.
This requires awareness,
Yeah,
humility, and choosing connection over control every single day. And I even learned from this episode and learning from you
yeah,
that there's just so much more to grow and so much more to learn. Your own kids can teach you so much if you just
absolutely,
sit
man.
back and just take a breather before you get to that doorway, like you said.
Yeah.
Um, Again, thank you so much for joining the Present Father podcast.
Hey,
Thank you for
thank you,
coming
brother.
on.
Yeah,
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And hopefully, the men, the fathers, the stepdads, the dads out there, you walk away with something from this that
yeah.
there is hope, that you got to continue trying, that you can't give up on
Nope.
yourself first, and you got to continue pushing your kids to be the best. Um, Also, while just letting them grow and understanding that control isn't love, obviously, as Paul said, that communication is key, and allow your house to be a home, a safe place, because we're all they know. Our kids are all they know. Our kids are We are the ones that they can truly trust and come back to. So, Paul, thank you so much for joining the podcast, and
Yeah, thank you, brother.
we'll catch back up, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, man.
All
You
right,
have
my
a good
brother.
one.
Love you,
All
bro.
right, love you too. Later.
All right, later.